Okay, so this is really weird. So, this is very strange, but it makes sense to me. I think I've talked about it, but it's all those things that where it keeps being like, you can kind of think like you know what it's gonna be like, but then it's just a little different than what you thought. But so this is so strange because there's all this talk of the California storms, and so then you have a lot of people who are watching all the storms everywhere, who are concerned and posting about that. And then you have people who are there posting live footage of the horrible storms, the wind blowing, like, oh my gosh, just like the one I saw of the tornado, and the tons and tons of them I've seen with the blood, and the water super deep in certain places and stuff. And so, and then being over here where there was a flood and knowing like, well, it was down lower than us, but all of the rivers and stuff still cross the streets and stuff. But so, it has to do with water level for sure, how close you are to that. But the strange thing is it's starting to become clear there's two different realities going on. And that's what's really freaking people out. Because even if you go into one of the posts that is about the storm, you'll see all these people in California saying, there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. Yeah, there's a little rain. There's nothing. And everything's fine. And then you see other ones that are just like, talking about devastation. And the thing is, it's really weird is because they can be in the same place. It's not like, you're talking about somebody in LA and San Francisco comparing. No, this is like people in Sacramento, people in San Diego, people in all of the different places are having totally different experiences. And it's not just how they're experiencing the storm. Some aren't even experiencing it. Some are having like a little bit of rain and nothing, and then others are losing everything. And so, I had said since the beginning it was going to be affecting all different people in all different ways, and there were certain groups that were going to be all affected together. But for there to be a separation in the two groups in the same place is really trippy, and it's really tripping people out because people are talking to different people and their families and friends and seeing different footage. Like it's no doubt there's more than one thing happening. Like you have some people who are experiencing a little rain and irritation, and then others that are experiencing just devastating floods and storms and hurricanes. And it's so crazy. But I had said since the beginning, each soul has its own thing that it's going to be going through, every single one. And it's the thing that is also trippy with the California storm is what is going to come next, like with all the stuff of the three storms coming, and then after that would be the big earthquake, because the ground's going to be so unstable from all the moisture that all of the plates are shifting, and so that we're already having some earthquakes and stuff. But that supposedly that's what that scientist or whoever that guy was said, that was going to be when the big thing happened in California, where it was going to fall into the water, was going to be after these three big storms. And so and then in that one, see, I'm starting to get them all confused, but at one of them it was even saying, I think it was the day after tomorrow, where it was saying the weird tornado. California never has tornadoes, and then we have this tornado. And then I saw that lady showing the footage of the tornado. It's like, man, it is so crazy. It is like it is like several movies playing out. Definitely, the main one is the horror sci-fi movie. It's horrific. I've seen weird stuff now where people are out looking for signs of giants and stuff, saying they left signs. I don't know. I wouldn't go chasing giants. I wouldn't go chasing any of the stuff to prove it's real. You just need to know it's real. It's really out there. But giants eat people. Like, so weird. Like, let's go find the giants, okay? Let's go. And get eaten. Like, it's very strange. But, you know, I think that the giants that have been living in the wild, you know, they do. When whatever is going to happen with this shift, like, it's so strange. Like, some of the stuff, like, there's more of these Mandela effects all the time. Just all of these realities fracturing, you know. And this is another weird one. You know, there was that one woman who had got her daughter a pair of shoes or something, and then came home and put them away, and then all of a sudden found them somewhere else in the house. So she went and put them away again, only the shoes were still there. And that just happened to another woman. And this was so strange because she said she was at the thrift store and her daughter found this old beat up, worn out pair of, you know, princess, I can't remember, Ariel shoes or something. And so she wanted them really bad. So the mom said, okay, get the shoes and let's go. So she puts them in her closet, and then, you know, the next day, I think it was, or later that day or something, the mom sees them in the shoe basket. You know, they keep by the front door, and she thought, well, that's strange. Why would she put them there? And so she went and picked them up and took them back into the room, but they were already still sitting there. Which even gets even stranger is that each pair of shoes had a deficit of one shoe that was like that shoe and that shoe would have been a pair. It's very strange because it was missing a strap on one shoe out of each set. And then on the bottom of the shoes, you know, when they're rubber, like in the thrift store, they always write on there with pins. And so there was writing on the bottom of each shoe that matched exactly with the other pair. She was totally tripping out, but I had seen another woman doing the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, the weird stuff going on in people's houses. I've heard so many weird stories, like where all of a sudden someone's not in the room that was there, all sorts of weird stuff. I just saw this weird one too, or some guy was just in these people's house, just he totally had to have been mentally unstable. Like, he didn't even know what the hell he was doing or something. It was so strange. And then he went and broke into another one and stole their dog and stole their car. So he seems very confused, but it really, you know, that to me kind of seems like, well, they're not treating the mentally ill for sure. And while all this stuff is going on, that is making all these shifts and stuff. So if you're mentally unstable, things are going to feel even less connection. You know, you're definitely going to just feel like you're in a dream. Even when the woman was telling the story, because her sister and her family had gone out and they came home and their gate was closed. And so they thought that was weird. So the husband gets out, opens the gate so they can pull in, goes up, sees there's packages on the porch, but they've all been opened. Then he tries to get in the front door, can't get in because it's locked from the inside. So he goes around to the inside, goes in and starts saying hello. There's a guy upstairs in his room putting on his clothes, comes down. Then the guy is like telling him, put up your hands and take off my clothes. And the guy's just following commands, doing what he's told. And then the guy tells him to get out of his house. So he goes and leaves his house. And I think at one point he said, what are you doing here? And he said, I thought someone was in trouble. So it's like this guy is just like in some sort of a dream state or something, like no connection to. But when the realities are fracturing like this, like if you don't have a grasp on some reality, like you're just going to be like, but the thing is that vibration won't be able to continue. Like that vibration, something would happen, you know, they'll go out and wreck the car and get killed or walk in front of traffic or something. Something will happen to take them out of the game because you can't, there's a certain point in the game where if you're not actively participating in the game with awareness, that you just won't be able to continue in the game, I think. You know, the game is continuing to drop people out of it, you know, leaving people out of it. It's so curious, too, about the California thing, because and my brother, today's his birthday, and he's the fireman, you know, in LA. And so I thought, okay, I'm not, because last night when I was seeing all those horrible things, I thought, okay, till tomorrow when I tell him happy birthday, I'll say, you know, are you safe? Is everything okay? And then when I started seeing all of those other footage where people are saying, there's no storm. What are you talking about, storm? Everything's fine in sunny California. We're all doing great. We're headed to the beach now. You know, like, okay. And so then I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything to him, because already he thinks like I'm crazy. So if I say, you know, how's the storm, and there's no storm, then he's going to, you know, like, quit listening to the TV or whatever it is he thinks. And so then I was like, I'm not saying shit. And if there is a storm, then he can take the responsibility to say, yeah, the storm's really kicking our ass. And, you know, if he don't want to say anything, then fuck it. I don't, like, I never really reached this point of like, to me, there is no fucking telling or getting anyone to see. If you can't see what's going on around you already, then, you know, you're behind in the game. You're a few steps behind. And so you got some catching up to do, you know, if you're going to continue in the game. But, you know, a lot of people aren't going to continue. I don't think a lot are going to continue after the next couple of weeks. You know what's weird, too, is the wood guy came yesterday, and it ended up being dry, and he didn't come till way later. And he said he'll come about 3:30. And I said, oh, it's usually getting pretty dark here by then. And he goes, okay, well, I'll hurry. The games are over at 2. I'll run, and I'll load the truck and be over. And then he got here like at 3. And so I went out and he brought 2 of his kids from the games and stuff. And, you know, they're all helping. And to me, it's always like, give them a little money. It kind of tears me on that, because it's like you don't want them to be worshiping money, but then you also want them to know that you get something for working hard. So, you know, when you put in the work, you get something in return. So it's kind of going on that thing, but then it's like sucks, because all you have is like this concept of money, which becomes, you know, this entity that people will, you know, kill their fucking family for and chase around like it's the fucking idol of everything. You know, get that money, get that money. So weird too. It's like, ooh, I don't know. It was something about something they were showing me last night. This whole long drawn out thing about money and the gain and people chasing it and stuff, like. But you know, this is the shift. This is the reprioritizing of what's important and what's not. So anyways, it made me feel kind of like a hypocrite or something, giving them money, but then also wanting to give them something for their work. So anyways, you know, he's come and delivered wood so many times. He's gotten more chatty, you know. And at first, when he was going to pull in, I was going to ask him what he'd been seeing out in the sun, out in the sky now, especially because now so many people are noticing, and they're noticing that during the daytime, the moon and the sun are real close to each other. Like people watching it who think that we're out in space think like these planets are about to crash. And so, and this also with the sky thing, this was footage from, where was that? I can't remember, but it was shooting some sort of rocket thing up, or I think it's something that they say is going on with missiles. So it's something with the fighting stuff. And, you know, like, well, they shot a missile, so we shot this back, and they shot this, so we shot that to prevent this, like that kind of bullshit. So the person showing the footage shows this thing shooting up through the sky, but then all of a sudden it hits and it just stops. And so they were like, you know, what stopped it? And then when you go in and read the comments, like the people who are still trying to make excuses for this stuff, it's like, Jesus Christ, like what? Like it's mental. And, but when she was showing the footage too, you could see like this giant thing. It is like the pressure. It is like the firmament to me. The firmament is coming down on us. That's what it seems to me. Like the bubble that has contained us is collapsing. And, you know, it's water or plasma or whatever, you know, it's a thickness of an atmosphere that is all around us. And so, like, you know, I don't know if that is going to completely open and that's where all this water is going to come from that's going to change the planet, which sure seems likely to me because of so much weird sky stuff, but especially because that weird looking bruise thing, it's like all of the weight or the pressure is building and you can see it when you look up. It's like this giant sky bruise looking thing. And so, you know, I don't know, especially when you see that thing shooting up and then it gets up to that and then it just stops. It can't go any further. And, oh God, and the stuff that people say, God damn. Oh yeah, I can't even remember. I just, like, lately, even when I've gone into any of the comments, and even some of the people, like, I don't know, maybe they've hired new bots to be attacking us. There's this other guy who says similar stuff to me. I've talked about him a few times. And then yesterday, he was really down. He was like, oh, I'm not posting anymore. And wherever his information, he was hearing something about all the ships in the sky are just here to retrieve gold. And they're just coming to, because they're still mining and they don't give a shit about us. They're just coming to grab some gold and take off. It's like, that's not anything I've ever heard before. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there saying a lot of different things. And, you know, if you don't have a really solid background of knowing some of this stuff, is the thing. It's like there's a whole thing, like our fake history stuff. Like I started seeing all about that on Ancient Aliens. So any of the fake history stuff I hear is like, and right now you can see that they're doing this total reset. They're putting everything that was from this reality is going under the mud, the water, being destroyed in some way. So I just heard somebody say this one thing and I thought it was really cool. And it was something about that the earth is not like a reset, not like where I said, like it's like stretching, like moving and turning. It is, they said it's like, the shift is to hide the past, to start over, something essentially like that, which is exactly that all this stuff that people are freaking out, you know, like, oh, I'm losing my house and all this stuff. Well, none of that stuff was ever yours. It was all an illusion. It was all part of the game. It's like The Sims. And so losing it, what are you doing, lady? What are you doing? And she's having a rough night. It's like, oh, stop. Come over here. She's having such a rough time. Sucks. You know, more people are having these same struggles with their dogs and stuff. These motherfuckers are just trying to kill everything. Girl. So, now, what was I saying? Well, anyways, I don't know. This whole thing right now seems so, everything seems so weird. It seems like kind of like one of those in a movie, you know, where it shows someone wake up from a dream and then they are doing all this weird stuff and then they wake up from that dream and then they're doing all this weird stuff and then they wake up and it's just like keeps waking up and they're just in this dream. That's what it feels like right now to me. Like everything just feels like a dream, and you wake up from that, but you're still in a dream, but you're still like, it's so weird. But I saw somebody who was just sharing this footage of 10 kids that went missing in the same area in Philly, and all different ages. I think from like 2 to 16 or 17, all of them black. It's like, oh my God, this is so fucked. So motherfucking bullshit. How these people, like, they just go into poor areas and just take these people's kids. It's motherfucking bullshit, man. God, I cannot wait till they get caught. Or till, I mean, I think they're already caught. I just can't wait to see it all go down. But, you know, for there still to be this stuff to keep going on, you know, it's all these instigators and terrorists that they crossed over, that they put on, like, boots on the ground to do all this stuff. So they've got all of their, you know, their first responders, like the deep state has their boots on the ground people committing crimes in all the cities, still kidnapping. And, you know, this was kind of weird too, is this guy, he did this, a whole bunch of footage of all these different clips of all these different women who keep going into gas stations, Walmart, stores, and all this, going out to restaurants, and then coming out and finding their cars tagged. And so this new one was a tissue stuck in the door. And, but, you know, they've got, like, there's a whole bunch. They've had these Apple tags. They've had those black strip things that police can use as handcuffs. I can't think of what they're called. But those on their car, like all sorts of different things. And, I mean, women have been at the gas station and had these white vans pull up and block them in and stuff. So all this stuff is, like, I have not seen a video yet where I thought that a woman was making it up so that she could get attention. But that's what this guy's whole video was. And he was really outraged. Like, how dare you, women out there trying to, clout-seeking women out there trying to make yourselves out to be in danger when we've got all these kids out here being taken and all this stuff. It's like, it's very strange, because I do think that I think all different people are under attack. It's not just, they don't just take babies to eat them and stuff like that. They don't just take kids to, what is that called, for rituals. They take a huge amount of people for parts. Like, how do you think these motherfucking relics keep on going? Just change out their heart with a new one. Change out, and now they even market this blood transfusion of kids. Like, we can go in and get a blood transfusion from a kid. Like, I don't want somebody else's fucking blood in me. That has grossed me out since the very fucking beginning when I was a little kid. And I heard him talking about transfusions and stuff. And I thought, that is really weird. Like, to put someone else's blood inside of you. Like, that was something I knew as a kid. And now, the stuff that I have seen and stuff, like, putting someone else's blood inside of you, it's like then you've got their, some of their memories, some of the DNA, like, you've got a whole imprint of this person. Like, I don't think we're supposed to be switching blood. Like, I don't know. Maybe I used to be a fucking Jehovah's Witness or something. I don't know. But I don't think we're supposed to be switching fucking blood. And I just saw this Jehovah's Witness kid who left the church, and now his family won't have anything to do with him. So he got a huge following real quick, because all these people feel so bad for him, because he's very young. And, maybe he's 18 or 19 or something. He just looks really super young. And and somebody asked him about the blood, because a lot of people have been asking him questions. So he does these question answer videos. And somebody asked about the blood, and whatever he said, I was like, yeah, like, I think it's weird, especially for all the stuff that I've been seeing and knowing how they try and, take certain things out of the blood in order to control us. And then to be putting I don't know. And I think it's weird too, putting someone else's parts inside of you. Like, there's been so many movies and stuff about, like, true movies. I'm not just saying made up ones, but where people have started having the people's memories, start remembering how the person died, start liking the things that they liked. They start changing the kind of foods they like. All sorts of stuff. Like, it's like you're merging somehow. Like, to me, if I have a part that wears out, to me it's like, bye guys. See ya. I'm out of here. Game's over for me. I'm gonna be like, oh, give me another part. I'm gonna stay in the game. Like, these people who, so anyways, all of these different ones being taken, I mean, there's so many different reasons. One of the things too, out of those 10 kids that were taken all from the same area, like, I think 6 of them, see, it was a little, like, 2-year-old girl, a, like, 3-year-old girl, a teenage girl. It seemed like there was another girl, but it was a lot of teenage boys. I was like, man, that's the kind of shit, it's hostile shit, man, to me. Like, God, I can't even stand it. It's so fucking sick. Oh, these motherfuckers. I meaning, I was gonna tell myself all the time, every single soul that came in for whatever experience they're going through, came in for that experience. Like, and that's not to say, like, all these souls are just a bunch of weirdo S&M freaks. No, you come in to play parts. It's like we're playing parts all the time. And, even this was really on my mind yesterday about the tarot cards. Because I saw somebody one day explain how the Fool is the beginning of life. When you're just, a child, you're foolish. Then man, I keep seeing weird stuff. Then you go through life encountering all of these different things, like things that will pull you into the dark if you don't use your own discernment, so you have all these lessons and stuff, and that's what the tarot is like the lessons to get through the challenges or something. But then yesterday I started seeing it as like, oh, we are the tarot cards. Like, we are the characters from the deck. So you are playing that role. So, this is kind of hard to explain, because it's like, if you think about all the different people who are playing the game, who are in the game. Some people who are in the game don't even know they're in the game. So, but whatever. Once you start realizing you're in the game, to me, and so you have all these different people in the game, and they're all following this pattern of, starting out as the Fool, go through the challenges to get you to honor yourself at the end. And so then all of the different roles, like, you have the Emperor, the Tower, you have all, and in the Major Arcana, so you have all these different roles of these experiences. And so we are the roles. So we're the roles for one another. So we play the characters for one another. And so it is, it like all fits together, but that is, something to me that is constantly being made clear to me is about knowing your role. And it's like something you hear all the time. And your role is different for all different people. And so for some people, you are the Tower. You're everything falling apart. So it is, I don't know. It's just something about having the awareness, because I think so many people get so caught up in good and bad, and, well, I'm all good, and, I don't do anything. But you're playing the part for somebody that is going to be the Tower for them. It's everything falling apart for them. So you're not just the good guy, no matter if you think, like, oh, I'm all perfect. And it is still so much with the to me, the Christians or the religious people are going to have the hardest time breaking free of that whole kind of concept. For them to acknowledge that they aren't just this holier than thou person that they think they are. I mean, the arrogance and attitude that they come in on people. And I'm still, like, there's so many. Like I said, there's like all of a sudden this huge influx. Like, you hardly get any views. You hardly get any, I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like, when you go into my TikTok and look at the numbers, and you see, like, the following, and then you compare it to the likes and the views, it's just absurd. But all the truth speakers, we're in the same predicament. And then you see this, this girl shared this, because she's sitting there all haggard. She just had a baby, and she's all haggard, and she's nursing her baby, and you can tell she's just probably been up all night, and she's sitting in her bed just like, but there's the stitch. And the first is this girl all, fixed, her, the template blonde girl with all the makeup, who's a model. They're all models. And she, her video is, she's just, she just got out of a 10-hour photo shoot. And so, excuse how I look, which is perfect. And I'm just going to sit here and eat. And I had to order some food. So she orders 2 meals. This girl is probably a size 0 at best. And she's ordered 2 meals. She's going to sit there and enjoy her food. To me, I was like, who is this person? Like, and then you go on, and it's like 3.2 million fucking followers. 3.2 million people give a fuck about watching you dance around. Because I went on to look, like, what is the content? What is the substance of this content creator? 3.2 million people want to watch her adjust her midriff between her pants and her little shirt, and maybe do a couple dance moves, or possibly eat something, because, I don't know, she's probably going to go run in and puke it out after she eats it. I mean, the whole thing is so fucking absurd. And the people just jump on there. It's like fucking, it's not even about idol worshiping celebrities. They'll fucking idol worship anybody. Like, and that girl is, I mean, she's she thinks she's super fucking important, obviously. And it's like, you've got no substance to you. So what are you important? Like the shallow end of the pool is very full. Like, it's fucking time to start moving into the deep end. Like, oh my God. Man, the shallow shit that people follow. Oh my God, I can't even get over it. And how full of themselves some of these people are. Like, if somebody's gonna just sit there, 1 million people want to sit and watch you eat fucking something or do a dance, it's like bizarre. To me, it's so bizarre. It's like, oh my God. If people can't see that this shift has to happen, I mean, some people are just completely, at ease with living such a shallow, artificial, superficial fucking life that has no content, no connection, just nothing but struggle, division, and drama. It's like, and people are just like all cool with it. Like, yeah, well, that's life, man. That's life. It's like, that's the life you choose. It's not the life I choose. And it really trips me out of California. It is like people are being faced with choices. And even if it is, like, reality is so much different than what people think. Like, it literally can be people in the same area, obviously, having completely different experiences and on such a different level. Like, for all I fucking know, my neighbors are in the middle of a rainstorm. I don't fucking know. Like, this shit is weird. Like, but here, to me, it keeps being like the fog. Even when the wood guy, yeah, when he came, And then it was sunny. I was like, this is so weird. And so it was super sunny. It was really nice out. I went out and did that, and he was just hanging out, chatting and stuff. And he had a flag on his shirt and a flag on his hat. And so there was something he said, because I have a flag hanging outside. And it was something he said that I thought, oh, okay. And so I said, yeah, well, there's supposed to be something's going to go down on the 19th. And he goes, oh, yeah, I know. And his kids were in the car. And then I said, also the 20th. There's something about the 20th. And he goes, yeah. Okay, well, I got to go. I went and got in the car. And then I was like really weirded out. I was so weirded out by this weird conversation because it was way weirder than what I'm even. And I was like, okay, that was weird. And so then he left, and I was like, okay, so trying to make sense of how that weird interaction, like, why did it seem so strange? And then I thought, oh, so he could totally be on a watch list. He could totally be thinking that I am trying to get information from him, because I would imagine he definitely is one of the patriots, who's got, I mean, he probably could be an ex-vet. He could, be involved with some other militia people. Like, he's a logger. And what was that movie? Deborah Winger and Tom Berenger, when it was about, because there's been other ones, but when she went undercover into this, supposed to be this extremist group that was racist or something, and that hated black people. I think it was like in the 70s or something. And she went in, anyways, all these guys that were in the group were like the backbone of the country. It's the guys out there working hard and the family guys and stuff like that. He definitely is one of them. And I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. That was just my reference of what I was like. That was so strange. But I have no idea. Maybe he really just was all of a sudden like, oh shit, I gotta go. Can't get too chatty with this. Or, maybe he spends a lot of time talking about, possibilities of what's going to happen. I don't know. Today is the 15th, I think. And so it's only, so if it's 16, Sunday, I guess, is today Sunday or Saturday? I just want to hurry and get to Monday. I just want Monday to hurry up. But is it all the way to next Thursday is the 19th? So we got to go during the week to have more stuff. Because I would think there's more stuff that's going to be, like, I've seen so many news reports being shared, like, about, like, this one. So apparently one of the ways that money was being given to Joe from these other people, who Hunter was the go-between of going into these other countries, getting the payoffs for whatever he was leaking out of information to kill us. Then what information he was leaking out to these other, I think mostly China, that so he had several houses. In one of them, he was renting to his own son for $50,000 a month. And this news reporter was like, I think we figured it out. I think we figured out how they're, getting the money to Joe. But that's the stuff that's going to keep coming out. And like I said, I was really shocked when some of the stuff I've heard of how arrogant, like Joe going to the meetings of some of these businesses. Like, dude, like, you're committing crimes. Like, you just seem to be like above the law, I guess, apparently. So, but he's not going to be. I even saw, this was when it was kind of funny, because Kramer is this guy, and he's all of these different groups, that have formed during all of this 2020 and stuff, that this one would be more of a patriot, like the government watcher groups. And so Kramer is one of them who then went against some of the stuff that they were saying. Like, I think he went anti-Q or something like that. I don't know. Like, all these different groups getting these arguments about stuff. So, I mean, there was a period of time where it was just like people stitching him and talking shit to him and stuff like that. And I don't know if he was arguing back or whatever, but it was like he was like one of their main leaders. Then all of a sudden it blew up, but he's still out there and has a huge amount of following and stuff. But so he has persona that's known out there by the group, this Kramer fella. He's bald-headed, he wears glasses, he always gets really close up to the thing and talks like and so this one, because it seems like so late to the game, and it just seems so funny for it to be Kramer talking about this. Like, dude, we've been talking about this since 2020. But he had Joe from 2016 picture and Joe present day picture, and he wants to know what happened to his ears. To get some sort of ear surgery? Like, what's going on? Like, why is his ears not the same ears? It's like, because it's not. And then I saw someone else show footage of another person that they say is playing Joe. I don't know how many Joes are out there, but this guy even looks kind of like Joe, only has black hair, but there was like some certain facial things that you can totally see, like, oh, that face would fill in that mask and look like that. Like, and I think he's some actor. I don't know. I would imagine if the NSA was getting actors to play Joe, that it would have been, you know, getting ones, maybe whistleblowers, ones that, I don't think they'd just go into any old guy and say, hey, you want to play Joe? Like, I think it would be like, there's more to it. Like, there's certain people who were more involved, and then they would say, you know, we need some Joes out walking the street, you know, running into things or looking stupid. We need a Joe that goes in and does the what is that called? When all the people come in and ask him questions, press conference, and all of them, you know, they have that Joe, which that lady, oh my God, I thought Red was bad enough. The one who was always going to circle back. Oh, well, you got a question? Well, I'm going to talk a nonsense, a bunch of bullshit, then I'm going to just circle back, and then we'll just start all over again. It's like, it's just nonsense. This woman is, oh my Lord, this black chick, whoever, I don't even know her name, but, oh my gosh, some of these people, like, are you AI? Are you so cut off? Like, you can just lie through your teeth like that and not even, like, it's weird. And she was being questioned. I don't know, this one reporter asking her this question about something Joe said. But I thought this one reporter was one of the bad guys from before, when it was showing asking Trump things. So that's this thing where you don't know, like, what roles people are playing. You know, I mean, there's just like certain things to me that stand out of, like, if you were going to be talking so much political shit on Trump, but then suddenly when there's so much shit going on, you don't talk about it at all. Like, those kinds of things stand out to me. You know, those are the kinds of things that catch my attention. So, you know, I think that there is, I think it's going to be surprising. Even I saw a video with the AOC where I was like, man, could she be working for the White House? Like, what? And I don't know. She was bitching about something about Congress and that there's a moratorium or something. And this could be an old video, because I thought the moratorium ended last year. And so I don't know. Some of these people who share these videos, I don't know if they just go out and pull old videos and then just start trying drama again. So I don't know if this is a new one, because I don't know all the different moratoriums and many things going on with what they've done for people to supposedly help them stay in homes or sheltered. Which I saw another prepper where she's getting all these questions, and people were asking her, you know, well, what about this? What do we do? And how do we do this? And all this stuff. And she said, too, at this point, you need to stay in your shelter. You need to figure out what you need to do and remain in your shelter. You don't want to be just going out there, you know, bug out bagging, running around, because there's just no safe place. Okay. There's no safe place to be. So, and this goes on all fucking night. Oh, okay. Oh. I don't even know if I finished. I think I cut myself off on a couple of things. I'm so scattered. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back in a while and finish talking. I'm gonna go and keep seeing if I see some more stuff going on, but definitely just seems like mass confusion going on. Like people are just, you know, completely confused, and everything is just getting more and more crazy. So I think for sure this week, I think it's going to be, especially because that Wood guy even saying that he had heard that too, and I don't know him, so you know, I mean, there's got to be something with some of these dates. So if the fiscal thing blows up and they show they don't have any money, and then they just got to get Joe out. Once they get Joe out, Kamala will fall real quick. She's criminal as fuck. And Joe is criminal as fuck. Like, that, still, stop. It's just going to keep showing his criminal behavior. And it's atrocious. I mean, the guy is so fucking arrogant, criminal. And then, how does someone become an arrogant criminal? Knowing that they've got other arrogant criminals backing them. So anyways, I'll probably be back, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.